All right, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for the UC San Diego student panel. We have several students here who are eager to be able to talk to you about their student experience. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Lindsay Fogelman-Tran. I am the Assistant Director of International Admissions at UC San Diego, and I'd like to invite my colleague John to introduce himself as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is John Heward. I'm one of the international admissions officers here at UC San Diego. I've been here about 7 years. Before that, I was a college counselor at an international school in Shanghai. And then before that, I was about 9 years doing undergraduate and graduate admission at a private institution in the Midwest. So that's a little bit about me.
Thanks, John. So a quick overview of what we'll do today. We're going to watch a real quick video to give you an introduction to UC San Diego. It's about 1 minute long. And then we're going to go right into our Q&A with our current students to be able to answer some of your questions. So feel free to use the Q&A box to start submitting questions that you want them to answer today. Anything about student life, living in San Diego that you want to hear about, we will go ahead and have them answer those questions for you. And then at the end of the presentation today, for those that would like to stay with us, we're going to do a brief admissions overview so you can understand the admissions process for UC San Diego. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get started with a video. All right, thank you for watching that video. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of an overview of what UC San Diego looks like and helps spark some questions perhaps that you'll have for our student panelists. So right now what we're going to do is have them all do introductions real quick. So we're going to start first just from the left to right on the screen. Tiffany, if you'd like to go ahead and start.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I am a third-year Marshall student. I double major in political science and economics. Oh, I suppose I'm originally from China in Xinjiang province.
Hi, everyone. My name is James, and I'm originally from Korea, and I'm a fourth-year undergrad at Revelle College. I'm also double majoring in bioinformatics and political science. And yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Wong, and I'm a second year at UC San Diego, majoring in neurobiology and hoping to double major in data science. I'm in Sixth College, and I'm from Shanghai, China.
All right, thank you all so much for the introductions. We have a question that just got submitted that I think is a great question to start with. So they want to know, can you explain the campus life at UC San Diego? So what is campus life like? Anyone like to start with that one?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can go first. You can go first, Angela.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. So I feel like there are just so many things going on campus, like all the time. Some of my favorite ones are like we have hundreds of clubs and they all have super fun events hosted by students. And we also have a lot of live concert and like, performances on campus. I know a program called Our Power, and it's super amazing. And also our student government, Associated Students, also host yearly huge events like concerts or like someone named For Y'all and other events that are super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and also since our school is right next to the beach, it's also pretty easy to just whenever you're tired, whenever you're like you're done with studying, you can just walk to the beach and basically go surfing or whatever. Or because I don't know if you guys are if you guys love sports or outdoor activities, but there's tons of stuff to do on campus. We also got one of the biggest sports facility called REMAC on campus. Sadly, it's closed right now because of COVID, but once it's open again, you'll be able to see how big it is, and there's so many facilities in there you can utilize, and yeah.
Yeah, I can also I totally agree with Angela and James. There's so much stuff to do on campus. Like a lot of times I have to like make decision whether to attend this event or the other one. If you like are on top of your like emails and stuff, there are like student insiders and also clubs are sending like different departments are sending their emails every week about to inform you about new events. There's a lot of stuff to do, and there are a lot of cool events. Like I met the Chinese ambassador during one event last year. It's really cool. There's so many opportunities to try out new things. Like if you don't know, like UCSD has a huge campus. So I learned how to skateboard during my freshman year. It's a lot of fun just to like cruising around the campus.
Thank you all so much. Those are great perspectives of kind of what some of the things that happen on campus. And along that lines, one of the folks attending today wants to know, what is your favorite tradition at UC San Diego?
Okay, I guess I can go first. So I really love the pumpkin drop at Muir College during Halloween time. Unfortunately, I missed it for my first year. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed it this past year. But I feel like it's a great way to relieve like your stress during like midterm times, and it's super fun. And I think they're like it's filled with candy, so like people run to like pumpkin and then like grab candies afterwards. It was super fun.
I guess I can go next. For me, I'll say Sun God. It's like a music festival. It's usually during spring quarter. It's a lot of fun, and they invite like super like popular artists and musicians. I think last year they invited like Joji and shoot, I can't remember the other artist's name. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's like a huge event. So you got like I think I remember it went on pretty much the whole day, and I really enjoyed it with my friends. And there are other like booths you can like do different activities. If you don't want to jump in the crowds and like yelling and like jumping, dancing, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. The Sun God is one of the most exciting stuff that you can do on campus. I For me, there's this thing called Triton 5K where you get to run 5K for, and you basically the whole purpose of Triton 5K is to raise money for, I think, for scholarships. I don't know which scholarship it is for. Specifically, I just love running. I just love sports, so I just attend it every year. They did it this year as well, virtually, I think, but I didn't attend. Sadly, I couldn't do it this time. But I think it is one of the, I think it started back in '90s as well. So I guess I could call that a tradition. So yeah, just wanted to tell you guys about that.
Great, thank you all. I agree with Angela. I love the pumpkin drop. I was an alum of Dromere College, and I enjoyed attending the pumpkin drop every year. It's pretty fun to watch a giant pumpkin drop off the top of a building. So another question that came in, if anyone wants to share, is it difficult to connect with others as an international student at UC San Diego?
Um, I can go first, I guess. I think it's not that difficult for international students to connect. first of all, we have like a huge student body who are international, I think like 23% or something. So so you're definitely not alone. If you attend like other universities, we definitely have like a huge like international student body here on campus. And also there are numerous student orgs and like student clubs that they have like for instance, there are like a Chinese union, there are like Taiwanese student union, and there are like student clubs supporting like different backgrounds, different cultures, and different religions even. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for you to reach out. And also the International Student Program Office, they offer numerous activities and events throughout the year. For instance, I think like the first event I did was like Meet the Beach. So we went to like the beach with other students, and definitely a fun event. And also I think every week they have like an event called Passport the Culture or something. I can't remember clearly, but it's pretty much every week they have like a country that they invite students from that specific region to introduce their culture, and then maybe try some food that come from a traditional dish come from that culture. But I think because of COVID, is now everything is online now, but it's definitely like fun events that you can meet new people, and also like share your culture and learn more about other cultures.
Yeah, so I can add on, excuse me, a bit to what Tiffany talked about. So definitely, ISPO, which stands for International Students Program Office, I believe, is a huge, like super helpful resource for our international students. And adding on to what programs Tiffany has already described, they also have a program called, I believe, International Peer Coach. So that is dedicated for newly admitted freshmen international students. They would pair you with one also international student mentor, and you can literally turn to them for anything. And I've asked my mentor about like internship, about volunteer, about clubs, or just chat with life. And it was super fun. And you always feel so supported when you have someone to always turn to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Tiffany already covered this, but student orgs are very important, I think. You can also participate in student orgs that are related to your major as well. So for example, I'm a bioinformatics major, so we have a UBIC. It's a university. I actually forgot what it's short for. It's a bioinformatics club. Basically, all the bioinformatics nerds like me just gather together and we study and code bioinformatics stuff, make some sort of a cool machine that they can help people. So basically, yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. So I believe there's a website where you can check out all the student work. So yeah, that's to give you guys that information.
Yeah, I just want to add a bit tiny, sorry, Lindsay, onto it. So essentially, I don't really feel like I'm international all the time. Like it's like everyone just kind of blends in, and we don't really separate between like us and them. So I really just feel like a usual undergrad student with all the resident students and like students from US. Like it's not really like a huge separation between.
Yeah, just quick add on to that. First of all, like all the student orgs are online now. Like I think there's a website called Virtual Student Union for UCSD, and also there's like a virtual library walk. If you don't know, library walk is like a walk in front of the library that everyone pretty much passes by every day to go to classes, and usually there will be a lot of like orgs to have set up their booths. They pass out like flyers and like I don't know, like do fundraisers and stuff. But because of COVID, everything's online, so they have like a virtual library walk, and they have like orgs there. And if you want to learn more about like a specific org, you can like find out their information when they will be having an information session online, and then you can join to learn more about that. And also speaking of culture, like we have like a lot of like good food around, like, and like I feel like it's so culturally blended here. Like everyone loves boba, and like everyone loves like Korean barbecue, like Chinese food, hot pot, etc. It's definitely it doesn't make you feel like alone, almost like you feel like you're like part of this culture already.
Thank you all for sharing that insight. So there's another question about internships, and maybe if any of you have had an internship, if you want to talk about that experience, and then what type of resources UC San Diego has to help students get internships.
Right, I can go first with that. So obviously there's a career center where you can talk to the career advisors, and they're really helpful. So you should definitely, even if you're first year, you can always talk to them. You can just right now it's even easier to talk to them because you can talk to them over Zoom. So you don't even have to go all the way to career center, which I hated doing that before. But now you can easily talk to the advisor over Zoom, and then ask them questions, ask them any internship opportunities. Also, our school hires a lot of students, so whether it's an internship or a part-time job, you can also apply through this website called Handshake. So you can go to handshake.ucsd.edu. I believe that's the website, and you can look for internships or jobs on campus, because I know that there's a limitation for us international students to work off campus. So it's definitely worth taking a look at on-campus jobs, whether it's just working at a cafe or working in a lab or working in a library. All sorts of jobs are available on campus. So you should definitely check out the website. And also it is possible for us to work off campus to so I've done that once on this thing called CPT. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of CPT, OPT, and all that kind of stuff. So it's not that hard to get that authorization, as long as you find a job that's willing to hire international students. For me, I was working for this congressional campaign who's running for Congress. I wouldn't really name her. I just don't want to know. But yeah, I just worked for her several months, and then they paid me quite well, and then it was a good opportunity, definitely. So you should always, even if you're first year, you got no experience or whatever, you should go out there, find a job, internship, and make experiences. You got to have that in your resume, and unless and if you don't do that, you're going to regret in your fourth year. So go ahead and definitely check out all the internships and jobs out there.
Yeah, and also besides Handshake, there's also a website for research opportunities. If you're into like research, it's called a Real Portal. So they have like listed numerous research opportunities. You can apply to be a research assistant, etc. Some they give you course credits. Some like even pay you. Like it's just a lot of information out there, and also you can reach out to your professors. A lot of professors are involved in some like research or some projects that they're looking for students to join them. You don't have to have like a lot of experience. You just need to like reach out to your professors. A lot of them are super nice. They love to plant seeds in their students and see you grow academically. And also for each department, they have like listed different like resources for you. Like for instance, for poli sci department, a political science department, they have like a website. On their website, there's literally a page that shows you all the research opportunities and also internship opportunities that you can do. And for international students specifically, there's also a program called Academic Internship Program. So for that, like you can apply through AIP, Academic Internship Program, and then get course credit for internships that are outside of campus. So that makes like authorization and all that stuff like much easier.
Yeah, I think Tiffany and James explained all of those resources pretty well. I just want to quickly add that Club is actually a really good resource as well. I actually found I kind of landed on my first internship through my club. So essentially, we have guest speakers from time to time from those say companies outside of UC San Diego, and they come here just to they wish to get like more students to know about their company and potentially recruit some internships. So those are super awesome opportunities as well. Also, like it's always better to get in-person connections than like just say cold mailing people or just put your resume. I personally feel like it's definitely a better chance when you like in person when we're back in person when you talk with someone and then when they have an impression on you and it's easier to get an opportunity.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. So there is dozens and or hundreds of job positions available online, and I'm so also for a lot of STEM majors. I understand that you want to work at a lab, which is a really valuable experience. So I would definitely encourage you to keep applying to a lab position if you're like a science major, because um, I'm also a part of a research lab at UCSD Cancer Center right now. It took me quite a while to get that job just because it's really competitive, and we're currently hiring 2 more people right now, and I had to go through about 200 resumes to read just for that position, research assistant position, that's paying probably a little bit more than minimum wage, but people would kill for that job because that's really important for your future. And so keep just submitting your resume, upgrading it, and talk to your advisor, and make your resume even better. And so yeah, it might be hard to get a job in a lab, especially in like a good lab where they pay you as well. But even if they don't pay you, you can also get like a volunteer position in a lab, so you can still gain experience even though you're not getting paid, because pay is not really important at this point. The pay is not that much anyway. So basically, if they're not willing to hire you as like an employee, just ask them if they want any volunteer, and let them know that you're willing to help without any pay. Yeah, that's going to help you in a long run as well.
Yeah, totally agree. And add on to that, definitely reach out and build like connections. Definitely. I attended like another like webinar yesterday with some like alumni, and they were like super welcoming and super like I don't know, it's just like they say like whenever a student reach out to them, they will most likely reply like in most cases. So and sometimes like students can just get an internship easily by reaching out to an alumni because they love helping UCSD students. So definitely reach out, like don't be afraid. So like a lot of you can also use like LinkedIn. If you don't know, it's like a Facebook for like it's like a job finding Facebook app, and then you can find like all the connections there, and you can find like alumni there as well. Like just reach out to people and then talk to people, and then yeah, you'll find your fortune.
Thank you all so much. Those are great insights into some different opportunities that are available, whether it's internships or research opportunities at the university. So there was a question submitted. How would you describe the students at UC San Diego? Does anyone have, I mean, maybe it's one sentence, one word. Do you have something you think of when you think of the students at UC San Diego?
I would start and I would definitely say diligent and passionate. That's my word for them because like all of the friends I have and all the students I meet, they're all really passionate of what they're doing and they really work hard to accomplish their life or career goal.
Yeah, for me, oh, I totally agree. Like, especially when library was open and like everything was normal. Like late at night, you will see people working, like studying in the library, all the time. You just feel like that environment that like also inspires you to become who you want to become and like do what you need to do to achieve your dreams and stuff. And also, I I also think like our students are like really diverse, not only culturally, but also in terms of like passions, interests. Because we have like a huge campus, you can definitely find a group of students that you can vibe with and you can fit in. So yeah, like I think UCSD is a great place to just to become to be who you are.
Yeah, I mean, Californians are generally very friendly, I think, compared to the other states. But yeah, San Diego is a very friendly place, and especially UCSD, the people here are very nice, very open-minded. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna add.
All right. So earlier you all introduced yourselves and you mentioned a college that you were in. So could you talk a little bit about what is the college and do you have any suggestions on selecting colleges, especially for international students?
Yeah, okay, I guess I'll get started on that. So essentially, I believe our college is slightly unique in a sense that it's not by major, so it's kind of by residence area and your general education requirement, short as GE requirement. And yeah, and I think each college has their own model as well. Like for six college, ours is, I believe, culture, art, and technology. So our writing series actually really fit into that theme, and it's all focusing on how to incorporate culture, art, and technology into one like giant topic that you can talk about or write about or think about. So I feel like when I was selecting college, I guess it's just my personal experience. I kind of look at the model or like the theme of each college and see which one I really say not only really like kind of apply to my major, also like I'm really interested in exploring more on those topics, then I feel like that would be your best choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Like when you're choosing colleges, definitely look check different their websites because they have like a lot of information out there like about the GE requirements because you want to know what classes you have to take to graduate if you choose that college. Like different college has different G requirements in terms of like writing sequence, like and like math and science, social science, breadth, other stuff. Um, Funny enough, I actually chose Marshall because they said like the OVT has like pizza, and they opens late at night. So it's like, oh, I love pizza. So that's how I chose my college. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely. You can check the map of UCSD once we're back in person or like back to the normal. Um, I hope we will soon. And then you can see like the dining halls where they're located, and like each dining halls has different like specialties. So you definitely want to live like close to to the food because like food is really important on campus. And freshman 15 is actually real because we have so many amazing foods here.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to this. I just know that Revell has the most G requirements. So if you're Revell, just know that. Yeah.
All right, so I have a question for the double majors. How did you choose your double majors? And then how do you balance both majors while completing your GEs for your colleges?
Okay. Yeah, it's so I first came here as a psychology major actually, and then after my first quarter, I realized that it's not the right major for me. So I decided to choose a second major, which is poli sci, because I didn't want to just give up on psychology at first. And then I did that for 1 year, and then I had to go back to Korea to serve in the army for 2 years. And then while I was serving in the army, I realized that psychology is not going to get me anywhere uh, because first of all, I'm not interested in that because you have to be really interested in something to pursue, maybe like master's degree or PhD later on. And I was definitely not ready to do that for psychology. So I was just reading a lot of books, just reading a lot of articles about which industry is going to be the future or whatever. So I decided to go into bioinformatics because I loved coding before as well, or also data analytics as well. So I chose bioinformatics and then started all over again after the army. And I still kept poli sci because a political science department just started this new major called data analytics. That's the major that I'm doing right now, actually, under the poli sci department. So I decided to keep that double major, and there's definitely a lot of classes to take. I've been taking all summer classes for 4 years. Um, that's how I could manage all the classes, fit in, take all the classes that are required for graduation, which is not for everyone. I had a really hard time as well. I'm sure there's people out there who can do better than me, but it's just really hard. You gotta give up something else uh, to take all the classes and do all the homework and not fall behind. So it's something to think about uh, for a long time before you decide to take do double major. Because also if you're Revell, you gotta know that there's a lot of GE classes you have to take, and there's not just a lot of classes to take. Revell writing classes are known to be one of the hardest classes in college, and for me it was the hardest class. It was harder than any of my biology classes because I hate uh, writing essays or reading archaic books. So just know that if you're not strong in that field, you gotta spend a lot of time in those classes. So in order to excel in your classes. So yeah.
Yeah, so I came in as international studies major, focused on economics, because I love like learning about like different countries, different cultures, and also like globalization in general. And I did well in my AP economics exam, so I think, oh well, I may just like have a focus in economics. But later on, I decided to switch my major to political science, international relations. I feel like a poli sci definitely I have more like passion and interest in poli sci. Because of what's going on, like also as an international student, you have to pay more attention about like global politics. So I feel like that really interests me. And then later on, I decided to double major in economics. I feel like the two majors that I chose are not too hard to achieve in terms of like class load, workload and classes, because a lot of them like actually have like over some sort of overlap with your GE classes. But definitely there are a lot of classes that you need to take and then you need to like plan well beforehand. So I definitely encourage you to go to like student the virtual advisings or your college advisors to have like a 4-year plan plan out for you, like see if that's you can do that schedule, because I've been taking like 6 classes every quarter, um, pretty much after my first quarter here. But that's doable for me because I love the subjects that I'm learning. I love all my classes. So that's been a blessing to me. So yeah, definitely choose what you're passionate about, because otherwise later on when you are taking those harder upper division classes, it would definitely be painful if you don't like your subject, don't like the major that you're studying. And I feel like double major also like when you're like kind of finishing off with their G's and you're like taking all upper divisions major classes, um, double major definitely balance out. Like if you feel like a little bit like too tired for like poli sci, you can take some like economic classes to like balance out a little bit. Yeah, and also it helps with scheduling classes because not all classes are offered every quarter. So sometimes like you want to take that class, but that's not offered this quarter. You may just switch to like another class that's offered for your for your other major.
All right, so kind of along the line of taking classes, what's been your favorite class that you've taken at UC San Diego?
I guess I'll start on that one. So I mentioned before that 6 writing class are called CAT, stand for Culture and Technology. And actually I have 2 of the CAT classes that I really enjoyed. One of them is called Arts and Brain. So it's combining art with how the art like make you feel the way you feel. It's kind of combining art and biology. And our professor, she's also awesome. She has like 4 degrees in like 4 different fields. So she's really an expert on what she's talking about. That was a super cool class. And the other class I took was last quarter. It's also a CAT class. I believe it's called I'm not sure the exact name of it anymore, but then it's like we watch a lot of shows, like screenings, including like movies or episodes of some shows, and to talk about like how they each deliver the message they do, and we have a different theme each week. I think the overall theme is like climate change in screening, I believe, and we have some subtopics in each week. Sometimes it's like robots, or sometimes it's about like kind of like racism and xenophobia. Like it's like a super interesting class. Yeah.
I can go next. I guess I have a lot of like classes that I really like, so it's really hard to choose like one favorite. Like one of my favorite classes is called Economics of Discrimination. So it's really practical. If you think like about like economics and think about like the figures and like the economy in general, but like this class you focus on like how we can use like economic tools to learn more about like discrimination that are happening in the society, and how we determine that. And it's you learn some like practical research skills as well. You read some like research papers. It may be hard to at first to like start reading like research papers because you may not understand everything in it, but it's definitely you'll learn. You grow so much after that class. Like you can like read like research papers, you understand so much. And then also it's mind-blowing to see like learn about our society or the world from another perspective.
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this question. I like all the classes I'm taking except for my G classes. So
So with your classes, what has been your experience in terms of them being large classes like lecture halls, smaller group discussions, working with tutors, graduate assistants? What has that been like for your classes?
I mean, there are different variety of classes offered. For instance, like a lot of like GE classes, there are like a larger classroom with more students. And also like for instance, like math and econ 1 or 2 or 3, they have like larger classrooms. But for poli sci, if you take some like upper division classes, like the class size definitely shrinks. You have like more opportunities to talk, to engage in classroom and also talk to your professors. I've also taken some language classes at UCSD. So I took Spanish the first year, and then I've been taking French since my second year. So this is my second year taking French at UCSD. I definitely love the class. So for language classes, they definitely kept the classroom really small. So they make sure that everyone has a chance to speak and to talk, to practice the language. So generally it's like in my class, sometimes it's like 10 students and one professor or instructor. And sometimes yeah, so that varies, depends on the class. And to see that, you can like check when you're like planning out your classes, you can check the web reg. It's the web page where you plan your classes and enrolling classes, so you can see the available seats. Usually, like for a lot of like general STEM classes, like the size of classes are definitely bigger. And then if you're going towards like upper division, harder classes, and also like social science, humanity, the class size are pretty small, let's say.
Yeah, I think Tiffany pretty much covered all of it. I just want to quickly add on to something. I don't know if y'all know about it. It's called Freshman Seminar, and it's awesome. So a lot of departments has some of their best professors, or like I think most of the professors are like distinguished professors that teach like really high-end classes for operative students. They offer those seminars for freshmen, and those are usually like 10 to 15 students, I would say, and it's a really, really, really awesome opportunity to get like in-person connections with your professor, and that you don't get to like connect with them in like say classes of 200 or 300 students. I actually got my first research opportunity just by like going to my prof from the freshman seminars office hour, and I just like chatted with him, and he happens to know like someone in my like a hometown, and it's just awesome. Yeah.
Yep, that's I'm just gonna skip the question.
All right, so we're going to ask just one last question to all of you. So why did you choose UC San Diego? Or what's, your favorite thing about the university?
Yeah, I guess I can go first. So for me, there was a lot of options to choose, a lot of countries to. As international students, we're coming from a different country, so I also, as one of them, applied to colleges from in many countries. I applied to Canadian schools. I applied to Chinese schools. I applied to Scottish schools, and the Korean universities, obviously as well. Um, but I wanted to come to the States uh, for an obvious reason, I guess. I guess this is one of the reasons that you guys chose here as well, is because it is one of the how do I say, not the wealthiest, but one of the countries that where you can gain a lot of opportunities, where all the opportunities are like where everyone is accepted. That was my perception of America, and that's why I chose this country specifically. And the reason I came to UCSD over other schools is that it's like the environment and the people here are just I think uh, one of the best in the world. The school itself is obviously in the best location that you can think of. That was very important for me because I'm very into like sports or outdoor activities and all that kind of stuff. So San Diego has been my like dream place to like travel to, but I just decided to just come here for college because it's I mean the school's awesome. It's one of the best public schools. Also for bioinformatics majors, UCSD bioinformatics is #2 in the country. So just letting you know if you want to choose bioinformatics later. Um, and yeah, there's this. I I don't care as about the education level and like the ranking as much as the environment and the people. Obviously, the some people value the rankings more, I guess, but that's also our school is one of the highest, one of the best schools. But that wasn't important for me. It was the environment and the people here, which have been awesome experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I actually went to a high school in a really small high school in Rhode Island for like 2.5 years. And like in Rhode Island, it's like smallest state in this United States. So definitely you don't feel like really you don't see like a lot of people look like you there. And also like I feel like I've experienced like the life in the in East Coast. I want to experience like the California dream, the California life that everyone is talking about. So like San Diego is definitely one of the best schools here on the West Coast, and also the location is just so nice. The weather is always really really nice. Like sometimes when I don't have like assignments due or like don't have exams to study for, like I feel like I'm living a retired life. So it's really nice and chill. And also, UCSD is close to the US and Mexican border. So that brings like extra opportunities and extra diversity. Like a lot of people here speak Spanish, and you experience like different cultures even more so. And yeah, that's why I chose UCSD. And also like the programs here are amazing too. Like the poli sci department, I think they're ranked like the number top 4 in the States. I remember I checked last time. That's for international relations. So like they offer like good programs, and also the weather is nice. The location is really nice. So why not?
Yeah, so essentially pretty much what Tiffany and James covered. I joined as a bio major and I'm still a bio major, and I think we have one of the best bio programs in the world. And also the ocean view. Like I saw the ocean view like on like the cover of the I think pamphlet that they sent to admitted students, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going. So yeah.
All right, well, I want to thank all of our panelists for joining us today. I hope that you got a lot of great information from them and you were able to learn more about UC San Diego and everything that we have to offer. So thank you all so much for joining us today. What we're going to do next is for those that want to learn more about the admissions process at UC San Diego, John is going to provide us with an overview of that.
All right, well, yes, thanks to everyone for coming out and helping us answer these questions, all of our wonderful students here. And I'm going to go ahead, as Lindsay mentioned, and go over a little bit about admissions here at UC San Diego. And if we move on to the next slide. At UC San Diego, we're a large public institution with over 30,000 students, a large research institution. We have about 66% of our students come in every year as first years, 34% come in as transfers. If you plan on coming in as transfers, probably your best bet from out of the country is to come through one of the California community colleges, simply because we have a 2 English composition courses required as part of the breadth requirement there. And then we're typically around 50% men, 50% women. We're about 18% international students, and our student population represents 45 of the US states and over 100 countries and regions throughout the world. So that's we're pretty diverse here on campus, as was mentioned in some of the student panel questions. So if we can move on to the next. A little bit about kind of what we're looking for. In minimum requirements, sometimes you'll see minimum requirements. It's important to remember that we're a selective institution, and sometimes our students actually exceed those minimum requirements. So if you see something that says like a minimum GPA of 3.0 or 3.4, it's great. But we do, sometimes our applicant pool is pretty self-selective. So what we're looking for is, that you're taking a challenging program within your school environment, typically college prep courses. In the fall or in the spring of 2020 and summer of 2020, we allowed pass no pass grades to be part of the record, where typically we don't. Part of the courses we would consider in the admission process. When we're looking at the qualitative part of the grades you earn, regardless of the system you're in, we're looking at a weighted GPA in years 10 and 11 only. So honors courses add additional weight to the GPA. Some systems we may not convert to a GPA, like we know what IB is, or A levels, things like that. So we don't always convert to a US GPA. As for the SAT or ACT exams, we are going to be test optional in the fall of 2021 and fall of 2022. So it's totally up to you whether you do submit a SAT or an ACT exam. Some of the other factors we consider, academic rigor and achievement that comes out in AP, IB courses, maybe college level courses you might have taken over the summer. A lot of the honors and awards maybe you list, activities and leadership and things that you've been involved in, special talents, different interests you may have, academic enrichment programs over the summer. Other students may be getting involved in internships or service in their local communities or farther afield. So a lot of those things come together in the application. We're not so much looking for very specific things or any one thing or ticking off check boxes that we have to have, 20 hours of community service or 7 leadership opportunities or something like that. We're really looking for students who they've been exploring some things and maybe they've gravitated towards a handful of those, and they're really able to articulate to us what those have meant to them, perhaps through the personal insight questions. So again, it's not so much what, but how well you tell that story. And we kind of like to see those stories from students who kind of get it. They understand the things they've been involved in, the life experiences they've had, how those have shaped them, and what what they've gotten out of them. And maybe we can see a glimmer of what that's going to bring into our community. So there's a lot more than just grades and test scores if you submit them that go into the application and into an admission decision. So. And I want to talk now a little bit about our exam policy for this year. We've been here for a while, so I'm not going to read over the whole thing, but what I really the point I want to make out of this is for these exams, optional means optional. Nobody will be required to submit an SAT or an ACT score for admissions, and applications will not be viewed negatively based on the lack of a score. Testing has always been only one of many factors considered in UC's review process, and that will be the case this year too. So again, we don't want to put anybody in a position that they have to go out into one of these large exam halls, or maybe they can't even find one that's open or find a seat in one because everybody's trying to catch up for the ones that were closed down earlier. So optional means optional. And when we're looking at international admission, if you've been at a school where the language of instruction is not English for more than 3 years, well, if you've been at a school where the language of instruction is English for 3 years, then we're not going to require the English proficiency out of you, the TOEFL or the IELTS or that Duolingo test. If maybe you've transferred into an IB program from a local school, where the local language is used, then into the last 2 years, then we're going to require either TOEFL, IELTS, or the Duolingo for fall 2021 only. So again, if you have 3 years by the time you graduate, in an English-speaking institution where the language of instruction is English, then we're not going to require that. There is place on the application for you to submit external exams. We know these are really common outside of the US system. So if you're in an IB program, or what's really popular, I know from my days as a counselor, is GCSE, IGCSE, followed by the IB. There is a place on the exam after the SAT, ACT section where you can put these exams. You can put the standard 10, standard 12 exams if you've been in the Indian system at some point. So if you've got the exams you've received scores like IGCSE or that standard 10 exam, you can put those on there and that they're actual scores. You can also put the exams you're going to take in the spring of 2021. If you're going to take IB, okay, which IB exams am I going to take? If you have predicted scores, you can put them in there. You don't have to, but you can put them in there as either predicted or actual. And that way we'll know, obviously that the exams are coming up in the spring, that we won't have the score till then. And we don't typically look for minimum subject requirements for majors. So we're not going to say, okay, if you're applying to UC San Diego and you want a specific major, that you have to have certain higher level subjects on the IB program, or certain subjects you've carried forward to A level if you're in an A level program. So we don't really have minimum subject requirements. And again, the predicted scores are not required. But do put the exams you have taken and the ones you plan to take in the spring on the exam, or on the application in the exam section. And then a little bit about our first year snapshot. We had over 100,000 applications last year. We were the second most applied to university in the country. Out of that, we admitted roughly 38%. You can see some of our median scores there. The 4.0 to 4.27, that's very US-centric weighted GPA on that ABCDF scale. May not mean so much if you're in a program that's not on that scale. Again, we tend to read in context of the school environment and the type of curriculum you're in. So So that's a big factor there. And then you just see those median exam scores at sort of that middle 50%. And again, remember, we are test optional, so you're not going to be required to submit one. Those are just there for reference. And on any of those numbers, just, bear in mind, middle 50%, some below get in, some above get in. And if you think of below some of those numbers, maybe not being what you would think would be competitive for us, well, again, we're looking at so many other parts of the application, and we're finding things we like about these other students and those other parts of the application that make them attractive to us. So make sure you're paying attention to all parts of the application. And a little bit about our application timeline. It's open now for those of you who are in your final year, seniors. It's open, but you cannot submit it until November 1st, and you have to submit it by November 30th. The application closes down at 11:59 p.m. on November 30th. And for those of you who are, maybe juniors or earlier, encourage you to get in there on that August 1st date, start putting everything in the application. It's entirely self-reported. You select any of the 9 campuses of the UC system, undergraduate campuses that you want to apply to. But it just takes time to fill it out. It's not particularly difficult. It's just time consuming, maybe a little labor intensive. So we give you that extra time to get in there and present yourself the way you went to on the application. We don't give preference for when the application is submitted, November 1st or November 30th. With the caveat, don't wait until like 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on the 30th, because if you get shut out, there's no other way to submit an application. But we may not even read an application submitted November 1st before we read one that was submitted November 29th. So you don't get preference for being on top of things and submitting an application earlier. We're going to make our decisions typically around mid-March is when you'll hear from us at San Diego. You may hear from other campuses, a little bit earlier or a little bit later. So don't get worried if friends are hearing from UCLA or somebody else. It doesn't mean we've lost your application or we forgot about you. It's just we're not all on the same timeline, all the campuses. And then for transfer decisions, they come out, mid-March to May 1st. May 1st is going to be our deposit deadline for first-year students. So that gives you about a month and a half to make your decision about where you think you might want to go. And if you want to stay connected with us, a lot of our virtual events, you can find them on the events page. Do take a screenshot of this. You can also subscribe to receive email updates. If you registered for this, you're probably on our contact list already, and we know you from this particular event. But our fall showcase is coming up November 7th. It's not just admissions. It's going to have financial aid and probably some student support services and maybe an academic unit or two. So it's a chance to get a bigger picture of the university other than just the admission side of things. And then we'll have our Triton talks going on throughout the fall on various topics, and they've been pretty well received this year. So try and connect with us in other ways if you have the time and opportunity to do so. I think we have a couple more slides here. You can explore campus on your own via a virtual tour. We're doing live tours. Some of our college ambassadors who are back on campus are going around campus doing the tour live for you, minus the hordes of families following them around. And I believe on the week of Thanksgiving, that November 20th through the 23rd, I believe, Thanksgiving week here in the US, they're going to have some additional things going on in the tour. They're sort of enhanced a little bit just because it's kind of a slower week for us. So they'll add some different things into the tour that will be good for you. And then we're pretty active on social media. So you can stay connected with us at UCSD Admissions, #FutureTriton. We have YouTube channels. We got all kinds of things going on. And so yeah, stay connected with us there as well, if that's how you like to consume your information. And if you have any questions, take a screenshot of this one. There's lots of opportunities to meet with us. We do virtual admission advising on that website. It's a chance to meet with us one-on-one. We all do several hours of that a week, and you can go on the calendar and just select a time that's available. You're probably not going to find lots that's in your time. Most of them are Pacific time during business hours, but if you find any outside of those hours, it's probably me or one of the other international specialists trying to connect with students in different time zones. So you don't really know who you're going to get, but we're also going to have some Q&A with admissions officers on these dates. And if you want to register for those, feel free to do that. And we'd love to see you again. if you didn't get all your questions answered. And then, so take a screenshot so you have that link. And then if you just have a quick question by email, go ahead and run that out to info@ucsd.edu. And for those of you who stuck around for the presentation, definitely thank you. Thank you for coming out today and spending a little bit of time with us and learning a little bit about UC San Diego. Always happy to meet students either virtually or in person. I tend to be going back and forth from Asia to the US a lot this fall, just minus the airplanes. So I'm getting the jet lag every day.
Thank you all again so much for joining us. We had a great time today. We hope you enjoyed hearing from our students, hearing about the admissions overview, and we hope to hear from you again. Thank you.